Hi, this is Sandy Tankus, and I'm here again for TOS50.com, the other side of 50. And once again, I'm speaking to Dr. Donna Geffner, who's director of the graduate program, Speech, Language, Pathology, and Audiology, and the Speech and Hearing Center at St. John's University. Good afternoon, Donna.
Hi, Sandy. Good to be here.
And thank you, and it's good to be with you again. Donna has spoken to us in the past about hearing loss and when hearing loss can be expected. But today she's going to be speaking to us about hearing aids. So once the hearing loss is detected, what do we do next?
Well, for one, as we said earlier, is be sure that it's just a hearing loss, that the person's had a good audiologic workup from an audiologist, and that there are no other medical possibilities, because sometimes dizziness, ringing noises, pain in the ear, running ears, all of those things can be symptomatic of other things. So we want to be sure that there are no medical conditions, so we need to get medical clearance. And then when we know it's a hearing loss, there's lots of things we can do. And the first step is amplification. And then there's oral rehabilitation. We teach somebody how to be a better listener and how to make use of residual hearing. But amplification really comes down to hearing aids. And today, Sandy, it's very exciting to tell you that we have some wonderful new aids on the market. We have aids that are small, the aids that go right behind the ear. We have aids that come in multiple colors, and they drop right into the ear. If you notice, this is a little receiver, and it goes right into the ear, and it doesn't occlude the ear. So it's light, and the person can have some natural sound. We have a small in the ear. This drops in, and that goes into the ear. And then we have a totally all in the ear hearing aid that goes straight directly down in the ear. It's hardly visible. It's really tiny. And then we have these very popular ones now that just go right behind the ear. They're light. They're colorful. Look at this light purple one. I had someone recently pick a fire red color and silver gray to go with his color of hair. And so there are lots of these wonderful new devices, and they're all digital, which means that you have lots of different ways of adjusting them to the person's individual needs. What's also interesting to know is that hearing aids today can come. You know how people, when they get older, it's so hard for them to regulate the battery and make the change and put the button on? We have remote control. That is, that somebody can actually control the setting of the hearing aid, the volume of the hearing aid with just a remote control. And one of the biggest problems we've had is people using the battery doors because they're so small you can hardly open them. And we have chargeables. So these hearing aids can sit in a charger overnight, and you never have to change the battery for at least 6 months. So it's much more consumer friendly.
Well, if somebody purchases a hearing aid and brings it home, how do they know that it's really helping them and it's really beneficial?
Well, there are really two good ways to know that. One is a very good general subjective finding. Does it help them? How is it when they're sitting at a restaurant, or they're sitting across the table, or they're listening to a grandchild talk, or going to the movies or the theater, and they have to really make some subjective judgments. You know, 1 out of 4 people over the age of 65 has some form of a hearing loss, and that just increases as one gets older. It's 1 out of 3 and so forth. So people need to own up to it. And only 1 out of 5 people who need a hearing aid really buy a hearing aid. So not a lot of people take advantage of it.
I appreciate that. I know people in that situation.
That really need
yes.
Don't do it. Yeah. And it's because you don't speak clear enough.
Right.
Right.
And what are the costs involved? Are these expensive?
They do get costly. They run from low end to high end, and they're approximately around $1,000 to merely more the high end that come with more features, and that can be as high as $3,500. And keep in mind that Medicare does not pay for hearing aids. Insurance typically does not pay unless somebody's had a rider on their policy for medical devices. So oftentimes it's an out-of-pocket expense, and plus you're paying for batteries and upkeep. But when you buy a hearing aid, you should be sure to get a loss and damage associated with it, which covers you for about at least a year or 2. And then take insurance, because if you lose the hearing aid, you don't want to lose that kind of expense.
Yeah, that's important to know.
Yes, there's insurance policies available.
And can people do other things to hearing-proof their home?
Absolutely. You know, hearing aids are not the only answer, and in some cases, like noisy parties and large events and big open rooms, it's very difficult to hear perfectly. So hearing aids don't replace hearing. They do make it clearer, but we do have other assisted listening devices. There's an ALD, assisted listening device, which is what we call sometimes the rabbit ears, but people use this for the television or the theater. It's an infrared, which means that it takes light beams and converts it to the sound, and so you really hear more clearly and more loudly. And it's great at home, so the person doesn't have to turn the volume up too loud for his or her partner. So we recommend this, and there are other devices. Let's say you want to hear the alarm clock in the morning. You can get a device that's a vibrator, put it in the pillow, and it kind of shakes you up in the morning rather than sounds you up. And then there's also other devices where if the doorbell rings and you don't hear the doorbell, you could either change the signal or have it associated with a light that turns on and off, or blows a fan, or a telephone bell that can give you a buzzer or a low tone. So there are lots of ways we can adjust the home using these assistive devices.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us again. And just want to tell everybody watching this video that we have your address. If they want to get in touch with you, we have your information on the website.
Thank you. I'll be happy to. Thanks a lot, Sam.